That's all right.
I'm embarrassed. I was actually on the Zoom call and I, notifications didn't happen, so I apologize. I was just watching some of the videos that you sent.
Yep.
Uh, so do you know anybody the wood instead of taking it to the dump and dumping it and incurring fees? One of my clients is actually does wood chipping for wood chips. So he gets
Yeah.
a lot of used lumber, he puts it through the mill, and he sells it. So I'm wondering if this is a possibility here.
It would take us the time it would take us to like sort out the wood from the other rubble. It probably would come out to like a whole extra day on her and rentals for equipment.
Right,
A lot of it too is half charred and burnt. It
right.
looks like they just pushed that house over so nothing would fall when they were gone. After they put it out. Uh, but yeah, there's a hell of a lot of rubble and shit there.
Yeah, a lot
Okay,
bigger than what she said was.
okay. So estimate how long it's going to take, how much the equipment is going to be. Could you rent your equipment from the boss instead of a rental shop?
We there's a chance like we could do that, but the only issue is that Norfolk Disposal, they only work Saturday mornings. So throughout the week we use the equipment at work. So we can't steal it
Yeah,
from work throughout the week. It only has to be a weekend thing. So
we did like we've gone through like we started quoting this what we think and we estimate it's going to be like 2 to 3 days depending how fast the disposal bin guys can keep up to us because we know that we can fill a bin in 10 to 20 minutes, but we looked up where their dump site is and then to Swan Road, and it was 30 something minutes one way, 34 minutes one way, so that's an hour going to count dumping. We're counting it's like hopefully hour 15 turnaround time per bin. But the equipment rentals, I got a quick online quote from a company around us, and it's estimating for the 3 days, 3 grand just for the excavator. But we're waiting on another company, Battlefield, who will do our excavator and our skid steer, hopefully. So maybe we can get like a package deal on that. But right now we've got it priced out at excavator from one company and then skid steer from another company, and it was excavator, skid steer, and the attachment for the skid steer. We got at around 4350 with no fuel, about 5100 equipment and fuel for the 3 days delivery and pickup from the site. And then our bins, we've got a rough like we're estimating 6 to 8 bins. Like we have it priced out per bin. So each bin delivered and dumped with the approximate tonnage, and like we get charged per ton. We've got it at 750 per bin. So we can give her the quote per bin and give her a range of bins, how long or how many bins we think it's going to take. And we've got it at 6 to 8 bins, 4,500 to 6K ish in removal fees.
Okay, so altogether,
Altogether, that's ranging from 9,500 to 1250 or 12,500. No
mhm,
labor cost in there.
yeah, it's going to be high
Yeah.
because you're going to be competing with other companies that already have the equipment. They have their own bins and stuff like that. Um,
I
but
know when we rent an excavator, or like when they quote a job for us to go on site with our big excavator, it's minimum like 1150 a day just for the excavator plus this float fee, which is 650, I think, at our company. And then on top of that, it's fuel every hour and an operator per hour, which is 140, I think. So for any big excavator project, you're looking at $1,400 just for the equipment to be there a day. That's not with labor or operator.
mhm,
So it is
okay,
pricey for those big jobs, and I think most people
yeah,
understand.
I think you need to look at it another way as well. Um, um, and price it that way, but also compare it. If you were to hire one of these, junk removal companies, why do you need the bulldozers or
Uh,
the excavator?
Just strictly because these.
just to get the stuff from the pit, like there's a basement in this house that was not shown in the picture, a full basement and foundation. And that would be the only way to get this crap out of that hole.
Right, okay.
Not even into the
Because
bin.
she was saying to push the stones back in the hole or something.
Yeah, when we were there, we meant like I guess that's what we're talking about is does she want that foundation walls taken out or does she want it left as a big hole? Because if we leave it as a big hole, then that cuts off a massive chunk of time for
Yeah.
us.
So you haven't had a conversation with her then?
Yeah, we haven't had, we wanted to touch base with you first and then we're gonna give her a call and see what she wants.
Like
with
Yeah.
that foundation.
We like to meet with them on site.
Yeah, the other thing about leaving a big hole, it's huge liability, right?
Yeah.
If somebody falls in, if a neighboring kid falls in, she could be sued,
Yeah,
right? And by extension, because you left a big hole, I don't want you to be sued. So we got to take care of that.
Now there is a lot of people around our area that a lot of companies they'll do a job or whatever and they'll get fill and they don't have anywhere to put it. So they have
So it might be a place for
clean
clean fill.
And yeah, that could I mean that's also something we could throw on as a charge. To
Yeah.
we don't have to do anything for it, like we're not paying for it, but I mean it's people pay $600 a load of fill.
Yeah. But you don't know when and if that's going to happen, right?
No,
Excuse me. Yeah, and it may not happen. In the meantime, if it's still your job and you're waiting for fill, I don't want you to be responsible for a kid falling in and breaking his leg,
yeah,
right?
I'm pretty sure if you were to put up orange fence and caution tape around it with a couple T-bars, that covers your ass, no?
Yeah,
and like
technically it should, but kids, they rip fences apart and they want to see what's inside the hole, right? They want to
Yeah.
play hide and seek inside the hole. And they fall over, it's still, even though you have a swimming pool and you have a fence around the swimming pool, that
Yeah.
doesn't guarantee you're not going to be sued, right?
Oh,
Because
right.
if the kid can open the gate easily and walk in, you're still got a court battle. You're probably going to win in court, but you still have a dead kid.
Yeah. I also
So
I know you're saying this out of because that could happen anywhere. This is a good. There's not gonna be any kids.
Yeah, you
okay,
probably live in the middle of nowhere. This place is in the middle of nowhere.
okay, that's good. That's good.
There's
Okay,
a huge laneway to the back of it. You got to go bends and
Yeah.
it's far from the road.
and I'm surprised the city is giving her a hard time. Then, if it's
That's what we're wondering because you can't even see the rubble or the house or anything from the road. Like you would have no clue that there was a house there if you were driving on that road. No idea. You'd think it was just a farm.
wow,
Yeah, I don't know where she's getting
I
that.
think maybe the
so it's the
fact
city being assholes then.
Must be or a neighbor calling on him or the farmer that farms those fields, maybe. But someone doesn't like her.
either that or I think maybe the fire department after they put it out, they have like 30 or 60 days for the city to be like, hey, did you take care of this house yet?
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
if you're driving around anywhere around here where there's a fire bin or a fire has happened, the house is gone within a month or two. You don't see that anymore.
yeah.
So, I think that's probably it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think there's got to be a way to reduce that cost because I know she's going to have a hard time with that. I would have a hard time with that.
Was it an older lady or was she more like
I didn't speak with her. Everything was over text and she sent text pictures.
yeah?
Does she plan on living there again? Is that
And that I think that's a conversation we need to have with her. But I'm still not sure I want to give up on that chipper idea because if we're going to look for clean fill, what if we use the chips as clean fill and just put everything, hire two guys, to throw the wood into the chipper. We don't need any heavy equipment because everything can be hand bombed. And the chipper goes right in the hole, or you create a pile and you wait for, a landscaping company needs, chips, and you say free of charge, go and take it.
The only thing with that is that it really in the end, if you put it into the hole, just tacks on more costs in the future if you ever try to do anything on there with living or what else. Plus, it'll never set because it's wood. Wood will just rot.
Yep.
And, since it is in a county, it's off the reserve. You need to like everything is by the book here, so it has to be like great, like test graded for. Like I know it's just fill, so technically you could do that. But in the end, if she ever wanted to build on there again, or if somebody ever came along, that is, they have to excavate that out, put clean building on it, so on and so on.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're like it's they're like house beams, right? Like you're not having two guys pick those up with concrete. That the edges are concrete and.
Okay.
The wood chipper. I mean, that's a great idea if it was a different, if it was a pole bar or something.
It's gonna be just as big as a safety risk sending two kids in there to pull out this rubble as it would
Yeah,
be.
full of
Yeah.
nails and
It's a nasty sight, like.
okay.
It's huge potential. I mean,
So, but at least, you can go back to her and say, we've examined this in every way, because I don't like the idea of charging you 12 grand or 15 grand to do this. It's not building value to your property. It's just making the city happy. And we feel really bad about this. But the fact is, we've looked at chippers, we've looked at, recycling the wood, we've looked at everything, and there's no viable option here. I hate to tell you, the only option is you need to satisfy the city. The only way we can do it is heavy equipment and cleaning the site that way. We're going to have dumping fees. We're going to have fuel. We're going to have this, and we're going to have, I'm sorry to say, that's what it is, right? At least you can give her a price for 12 grand or 15 grand with a clear conscience and say, I don't like it, but here are my costs.
okay. Plus, if it is a little bit higher, like I don't know if you would like. Do you think it's a good idea to tell her that like the budget is a higher budget? You want it to be low, or wait till that? Just show her the bill. Saying this is just estimate, like
Pull the Band-Aid, rip it off, right? Because if you feel good and you want to give her a few $100s at the end of the job, then do so.
Yeah.
But don't, chances you're going to run into problems.
Yeah.
Right? Things are always a little more difficult than you anticipate. Things always take more time. And the other thing that I would do is I would ask the bin company to drop me off 2 or 3 bins, because some of the trailers can have 2 bins on them.
Yeah.
Give me 2 bins at a time, because I don't want to be waiting for a bin. And what am I going to do? Pick my nose while I'm waiting for a bin, right?
Yeah.
You're paying this equipment. So even if you have 2 different companies dropping off bins, you can't wait for bins. And you cannot trust bin deliveries because they're always late.
Yeah,
right?
we wanted to have a talk with, I mean, it's kind of shitty that's all along, we can't call anywhere, but we want to have a call with them and say that, like, can you get us 2 drivers delivering bins and give it to us all day? And if we can somehow squeeze that, or one guy who does drop off the 3 the night before, and then we show up and there's 3 empty 40-yard bins there, that would be massive.
Yeah.
That's going to be our biggest issue, is that turnaround time for them.
Yeah.
And that's going to be her biggest cost, is us sitting there twiddling our thumbs waiting for a bin.
Yeah, while you're paying yourselves and you're paying for equipment. So
Yeah.
you got to have the 3 bins there. And you don't care when they take them away.
No.
As long as you can return your equipment, then you're good. The other thing was we did I was working for a pool company. There was actually an excavation company. They were out of town, and we had to use a crane to get the heavy equipment over the house to the backyard because there was not enough room. So we did that. Then we used conveyors because the bin was at the front. But he had a problem, waiting for the bins because he was filling up the bins too fast. And I said, no, you just get two different companies, and eventually that's what he did. And if it wasn't for doing that, two different companies, then he was going to go way over budget. And I said, you can't do that. And never trust bin companies because they lie to you, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're the first time client, you're at the bottom of the list,
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, if you can get 2 or 3 drivers working on your job site, great. Just make sure you're not paying them for waiting time because now it's the reverse, right?
Exactly.
So
Even if we had like some, because like everything is just spread out there, right? It's not in a nice, neat pile. Even if we spent the Friday getting the site ready, everything's in a nice pile, and there's no anything besides just moving your boom and grabbing and putting it in. We could have like 3 or 4 drivers going and just quick, just one pile, be done.
no.
We might do it in a day and a half like that.
I'd rather have the bin sitting there because moving the material twice is not very productive. And
That's-
can you rent the, what do you call it, the grabber to
Yeah.
pick up the big bins?
Yeah.
And are the bins going to stick out, or are you going to need a chainsaw to cut them in because they don't like anything sticking out of the bin?
Yeah, we can just break it. The excavator will be able to break anything there on site. If it's too long, then it will just smash it in half with the excavator.
Okay, as long as you don't break the bin at the same time.
No, yeah, if it's like that, then yeah, we're just smashing it outside of the bin, putting it back in.
Okay.
Yeah, we have dealt with this same bin company before with our current work, same size, same style project, everything basically.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like we are familiar with working with the bins, but yeah, it's just we know how much of a hassle these bins are at the same
Yeah.
time.
There is another solution. And remember you guys were telling me about creative ways to get free publicity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never mentioned this, but what if there was an accidental fire when everything's piled up nice and neat, right? And
Yeah.
and it's doused with gasoline, and by the time the fire truck comes, 90% evaporated. I never said that,
No,
but
no.
that could solve your problem, couldn't it?
We all good.
Yeah.
It's up there at night.
Yeah, but we never had that conversation.
No. Well, that would take care of a lot. But she's got another standing building on that site. We still need to reach out and see, like, there's some stuff that I think she's gonna want to keep, I would assume.
Maybe the standing building is not part of the equation.
I don't think,
I don't think so. It seems like a nice shop. I mean, it looks like no one's used it in a while because there's like it's overgrown,
Yeah.
but it's still a nice shop. That's why we were thinking.
How close to you is this property?
20 minutes.
Could you use the shop as an exchange? The cleanup could be your next 2-year rent for the shop. Have you thought about that?
Could, I guess, but I don't know. We didn't take a look inside of the shop. We didn't even walk around it because we assumed that's the standing building staying.
Yeah.
So we didn't kind of wander too much away from where our immediate work area was.
I would propose that because you want to use this to create a trusted relationship. They want to do business with you guys because she wants to know that you've got exhausted every possibility. We even talked to our finance company. The place we're going to rent next year, we thought about, renting your shop as opposed to renting the other shop, and we were going to do the job for you free of charge, but it just doesn't work out, right?
Yeah.
Because we talked about it, and it shows, it shows credibility because you're examining every possibility. And the last option is I have to charge you 15 grand to do this because we've exhausted every other possibility. Okay. I think that's how you're going to get the job.
Yeah. All right.
So I mean, I guess you haven't really talked to her much besides the basics of that. She didn't say that she's living there or plans to live there in the future. Didn't
No,
say anything like that.
No, if you want, I can make a phone call to her now and keep you up to date as to what's happening and get her impression.
Yeah,
Um,
it would be nice to meet with her on that site and kind of. I feel like she might get a better understanding of prices and the ideas because I mean, if she ended up wanting to build a house there again, there is a lot of work there that we could do. Like, I mean, the laneway's fucked. The She's got a retaining wall that's falling down.
yeah,
Like,
but the site needs to be made safe.
yeah, no,
And,
exactly.
and for her to use the same footprint and the same foundation, like what is the foundation wall? Is it stone? Is it a concrete?
Concrete,
Concrete.
It's concrete. So it's a good foundation wall?
I mean, there's like the parts we could see because there's a lot of rubble on the rest of it, but like the parts we seen, it was rotted away and cracked and
yeah.
Oh, okay.
like you can't rebuild on it. You'll have to
Okay.
take- sure.
So
Like we could clean the site up and then near the end on the day, like the day that everything's getting pulled out, we can pull her to the site and then explain like future options for her, try and sell her then.
right. Because I mean, if it's such a large property and they're going to build on it, unless they're going to subdivide, right? If they're going to subdivide, then the old foundation is going to get in the way. But if they're going to keep it as a 2 acre, 3 acre property per property, but you're saying it's way out of town. There's no houses nearby.
There's like it's
Oh,
a country style, I don't want to call it a neighborhood, but farm fields and houses every couple 100 kilometers away. Like there's neighbors, but there's not neighbors.
Right. Okay. So for it to be developed into a subdivision is 20 or 30 years away.
Yeah, you'd have to buy like her laneway, it comes off the road, her laneway, either side is 2 farm fields, and then like 150, 200 meters off the road down this laneway, farm field on either side is just this little nestle of like an acre and a half acre of forest, and then this house in the middle.
Okay. So it's a single lot then.
Single lot, like if you were to subdivide it, it would be like 169A and 169B for the fire numbers on the laneway. Like you'd have to make 2 laneways, it would, yeah.
Okay. So the foundation is going to be an issue if they're going to rebuild on it. Either they use the current foundation as partial foundation and excavate for a larger home because nobody wants a home that was that size generally. So I mean, I can give her a call and say, what's your plan for the future? And give her the whole backstory about everything we discussed today and see what her plans are. So is the price that I'm giving her, what's the price? 12,000, 15,000?
Let me get you right now exactly
Because
here.
we still haven't marked it up or anything.
Yeah, this is
Because-
cost. This is cost, no,
Okay.
no 30%.
Okay.
50 plus 300 plus 80.
Which at the same time, this isn't that bad. Like this price for the size isn't that bad. I was talking to a guy at work, and the demo we did was about half the size, with nothing inside the home, so like half the rubble, and it was around 7-8 grand for that job.
Okay. And that's
So,
what your boss charged?
Yeah.
Okay.
So low, we got a range of 7 to 11.2. That's dependent on bins and the excavator skid. The excavator, we're still waiting on an exact quote, but we came out to the online on the company's website, like what days do you want it, and then it shows you the price. And it came out at like 27.50, but that wasn't with the like it wasn't the exact one we wanted, so we just upped it and rounded it to 3,000 to cover a little bit more in case the one that we need is a little bit extra. So yeah, we're looking at 7 to 11.2, depending on how much rubble And,
And-
but that, we're not
And
gonna hit.
that's your
into
cost.
That's cost, and we're not gonna hit that 11.2. Most likely if the foundation stays.
Okay,
And we can
So-
just we can fill in the hole and leave the foundation like, just so it's like, instead of a basement, it's just dirt, and then you just see on the top soil, like just the outline of the foundation, if she doesn't plan on doing anything with it. It keeps the
okay,
site safe and saves her probably a whole bin of concrete coming out of the ground.
okay. And if we have to make the site safe, we need snow fencing or something around it. Um,
Like
Yeah.
she had like a makeshift hose tied around two posts at the front of the laneway that like blocks the cars going in, but like it doesn't block two 16-year-old kids walking along the field and just going to the back.
yeah, or a quad, a
That's
quad.
not, yeah,
Definitely,
Um,
I would end up not filling that in. That would have to be definitely snow fence or somewhere in a contract that's saying
Yeah,
this was our job, and I don't really know how that all works, but
yeah, I'm concerned about your liability because once you take over a property, now it's your liability, basically,
yeah.
right? So I feel we need something at the gate
yeah,
or just inside the gate, something semi-permanent. And snow fencing at the gate is probably not semi-permanent. I would probably build a wall out of 2x4s or something staked into the ground, and you have the equipment to stake it into the ground. Um, or
That
or
is
or a
too-
gate or something.
yeah. Like we could make a makeshift fucking gate with some 2x4s and one hinge from Home Depot
Yeah,
with
that
one
and, like-
sign on the front, and then put up snow fencing after every day that we leave, or if we leave for whatever reason, we could just
Yeah.
snow
With
fence.
a danger, falling hazard
Yeah.
on the gate. Same thing, and you can buy those at Home Depot.
Yeah.
So we can tell her so add 30%, so 10 grand to, well, like I said, 10 to 14.
Yeah, like my 30% on 7 is 9,100. Um, and then on the 11.2, it comes to 14,560. So we can call
Okay.
it 15, 14,
So I'm gonna say our range is between 10 and 15.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
And then clarify if she wants a future build on that or not, I guess. I mean,
okay. All right,
because it's very overgrown, and it looks like nobody, like that house must have burned down a while ago. No one's been there for some time.
Okay. And I'll find out whether she wants anyone to take care of the property on a monthly basis or quarterly basis or something.
yeah, I like it.
And if she lives out of town, then she may need someone to do that.
Okay.
Um,
And then
so-
also, can you confirm with her, seen hydro lines were cut to her house. There's a well, so there's no water coming off the road. And then just maybe double check that she doesn't have any gas lines running to the house that have already been shut off or maybe are still hidden somewhere.
Yeah, just
Okay.
make sure there's no any sort of, or if she has a locate sheet or something,
or there's
Yeah.
a septic system then if
I
there's a
would
well.
assume,
there
yeah,
would be somewhere.
Yeah,
We didn't see any, like, there's no riser lids or septic bed lids.
okay,
But they also could have been covered in rubble, so.
yeah. Okay. All right, I'll find out what her plans are for future and I'll keep that range between 10 and 14,000 and see what she says. And
Okay.
encourage her to meet you guys on the job site to talk more about it. But at least if she commits between 10 and 14, at least you know you have a client. And
Yeah.
now it's up to you to close her.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so anything else about that property?
No, just services shut down, future plans. maybe mention that in that one video I sent, there's that retaining wall around the driveway that kind of got a little bit fallen over. It looks like at the one end from something falling on it. See if she wants that taken out. But other than that, we could talk to her about that on the site because that's
Yeah.
going to be another 5-10 minutes maybe for us to get rid of that thing.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's
The stones.
But yeah, we'll run over like exactly what she wants the day that we meet her, if we meet her on the site.
Okay, let me bring you up to speed on the ads. So far, no emails yet. We don't expect any yet. We've had 300 or 400 hits on the ad, so people are starting to see it.
Yeah.
No hits, it's people generally need to see something 10 or 15 times. And this is one of the reasons why I want to get this truck on the road as quickly as possible, because when they see that truck on the road, and by the way, I do like the truck. It is rough. The body is rough. The back doors are rough. And I think that's the reason why it's been sitting there for as long as it has. It's kind of scary. And the scariest part is if you're not aware, the adhesive that's left behind from the old truck wrap looks bad, right?
Yeah.
It looks like dings, but gasoline that easily comes off. The motor sounds really good. I didn't move it, and that's why I want Frank to look at it. So we have a confirmation for him to look at it on Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Wednesday, and he'll rip it apart. And by the way, I didn't want to say this as well. He's an expert at diesels. And there's a lot of regulations around diesels that can be very expensive to maintain. And he knows how to fix that. Okay, I don't think I need to say more than that. But we can get this vehicle to run pretty cheap. And because it's a diesel, it should run to 800, 1,000,000 miles or kilometers.
On the ordinary maintenance with it, it'll run for.
Yeah. And the other thing that I think we should do is an undercoating. I find way too many vehicles, especially unibodies, they fall apart. And now once you get rust on a unibody, it's crap. It's just garbage. The engine might be perfect, but now the body's gone. What do you do? So I think investing in rust proofing is a good idea. Hopefully it's not too late, and that's one of the things Frank is gonna look at. Is I want to know what the unibody looks like. So the pay-per-click is working. We're starting to do some SEO. We're doing more posts for the ad for the website. We still haven't changed all the stuff, but that's not important because people are going to go to the landing page. They're not going to see the site. It's a squeeze page. We want them to fill in the information. And that's where we are today.
How the VA or the social media managers doing?
I have the guy whose grandmother has died 15 times already. I'm exaggerating. That's not the case. But he's still, when I talked to him a couple of days ago, I really want this guy. He's the best candidate so far. Everybody else is a robot and have to be told what to do. This guy can do the training and manage the other VAs, and that's why I want him. And he has the patience that I don't have to entertain the other VAs.
And he was the one that he had to wait like a month, correct? Because he was
which I like. He has ethics. He wanted to give his company notice. So we know that at least if he quits on us, he's going to give us notice as well. He's not the type of guy that doesn't show up or ghost you. So he's been ethical up until this point, which I think is admirable.
That's good.
Makes it worth the wait. Because he's
Yeah, I think he's worth it, but I'm getting even to the point where I'm losing patience with him. So okay. that's all I really have. I'm thinking that we should sit down for another lunch or something, or coffee or something, because there's stuff that we need to talk about, strategies, other services, and even search terms, right? Because I'm making decisions like if it was my own company, but it's not my own company.
Yeah.
And we need to make decisions on search terms, and we kind of need to have an idea how fast you want to do this, because right now we're on a slow grind because of the budget, because I'm treating your money as if it was my money, and because you have a full-time job, and because summer's drawing to an end. To me, normally that would say, we need to maximize summer. But again, it's not my money. When you start speeding up things, things start getting more expensive. So, and those are part of the conversations that we kind of need to have. All right. So maybe you guys should talk about that and say, ideally, what's our goal? What's our goal? And at what point, how do we know at what point we want to leave our jobs and concentrate on this full time, right? What needs to happen for that to happen? Is it we need to replace our salary? Do we need to replace, double the salary? Is it 1/4 of the salary? What is it? Or is it after we get the truck on the road and we start seeing some calls coming in, or we start seeing the pay-per-click and some leads are coming in, or we need to close 3 jobs at a minimum of $15,000 each? What is that? And that's what I kind of need to hear from you. So that's your homework assignment. Talk about that now while the two of you guys are together. Make some notes. Send me some notes on Facebook with that thinking, and we'll talk again soon.
Sound good.
All right. Have a good night.
Take care.